Hey everybody, welcome to another tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at another quad bike. This is a Honda Big Red 300cc, a bit of a 96 model, but yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So I've covered quad bikes in the past, ATVs, people as known as they're called. Before I actually done a tutorial in about the 400cc Suzuki in there, but now we're going to be looking at the 300cc Honda Big Red. And sort of the differences of riding, because obviously it's got a different setup, as you can see. If you haven't watched my last tutorial, I do show the setup. This used to be a four-wheel drive model, but has been converted into a two-wheel drive model. I picked it up for $280 plus a 1,000 litre container and a what else did I give with it? Oh, and a PlayStation 3. So yeah, it's deals, and this is what I got. So let's look into it. So as I said, it's for the price I got it for. It's worth it. It's got one brake that works. The right brake doesn't work, and neither does the foot brake, but the back brakes do. So at least it's a bonus. So we'll start off with the handlebars and what everything does, and then yeah. So with these handlebars, they're slightly different to the Suzuki handlebars. Let me just sit on it so I can get comfortable. So over here we'll start off with the lights. So this is your on and off for the lights. This is your ignition, obviously. Over here you've got your oil light, so it's my oil is low. You've got your neutral and reverse light, which are blowing on this, but as long as you know what gear you're in and you remember, you don't have too many problems. So you've got your lights, so that's on, lights on or off. So if we turn them on, you can see that there's one light on, and then if we do the other switch, it's over here. Turn that up, it's the high beam, but only one light works, and we've got the bar lights, which I've showed in the past. This bar light used to be on my 400cc Suzuki, but now it's planted on the 300cc Honda Big Red. So that's the high and low beams. So high and low beams. So you've got your choke, but that's been disconnected. Your starter, which doesn't work at this time. I've got to get a new solenoid for the quad, but it does work with a Kickstarter, because this one has a kicker. So if you do that, so that's how you Kickstart it, that goes kicks forward. But we'll get into that soon. The horn's disconnected. So all these, the only thing that works on this side is the lights, and pretty much on the right side you've got your accelerator. In order for these bikes to actually run, you've actually got to manually turn the gas on and off. So but in this case it's only reserve that works. On doesn't work, but off and reserve, which is up. So at the moment the way that's facing, the gas is off. So if we turn it up like that, the gas is on and flowing, and then it flows into the carburetor, which is at the back over here. So if we go right down, it's over here, use the carburetor. Watch out, girl, watch out, my cat. Use the carburetor right there. So yeah, so that's on and flowing. If you leave that off, the carburetor will empty, and then you'll eventually go dead. So and also a note with the gas, when you are not using it for more than 3 hours, turn the gas off, because the gas constantly flows even though you've got the bike off, and you can flood your motor. You can flood your carby in your motor, and then that can cause a lot of problems in the future. So always make sure you turn the gas on if you're going to go somewhere. One thing I've got to cover here is the kill switch. So the kill switch on each side, that's off, but if you flick it in the middle, that's on. So that's got a kill switch on it too. So the kill switch is off, so the bike's on. And and another thing to mention before I start this thing is, if you're kicking it with the 300cc Honda Big Reds, you've actually got, on top of the mode over here, you've actually got a decompression switch. So where my finger is here, that's a decompression switch. So before you kick it, you put the decompression switch up, and then once it's up, it makes kicking the bike more easier. So without further ado, since we can't start it with the electric start, we're going to have to kick it. When you kick it, make sure you're out of gear. So I'm in neutral right now, just so if you kick it, you don't go forward or back if you go to rev it. So she's pretty warm, so let's kick it. And the other thing to note about these bikes can actually work without a battery. The thing with my Suzuki 400 is once you disconnect the battery or the battery's flat, you can't actually get a spark from it. But I'll quickly show you. In the front, under here, you've actually got two CDI boxes. So CDI stands for capacitor discharge ignition. So it uses a capacitor to charge, and then when the motor needs this, ignite the petrol, it actually discharges through a spark, and that's how the bike gets sparked. But this actually has two CDI boxes under it. So one CDI is the main one, and that's where your spark happens. As you can hear that sparking. Just better give it a couple of revs because it's a bit cold. And the other CDI actually, it's like a place where it's temporarily stores energy and also recharges the first main box. But this has actually got a battery in it because it's recommended to have a battery in it, because if you don't have a battery in it, you can stress the CDI boxes out, which you don't want. Even if the battery is dead, it's always recommended just to put a battery in it. This bike has been modded because in order to reverse, you actually, by default, usually you would push this button in here, pull the lever back, pull the brake back, and then stamp down on your gears. But this one it's been modded, so you just stamp down on the gears, you don't have to do the brake thing. So you just step down one and we can reverse. So we're reversing. Okay, let me go forward. Okay, we're raining a bit here, but that's alright. We're going to go for a bit of a ride in the rain. And then after that, I'm going to put this thing away. So we're in neutral, put it down for reverse. So basic riding, just make sure when you are riding, do not, when you're turning corners, just button off on the corners. Only because you can also if you take corners with the button on, you can actually spin out of control or flip it, because these can flip. So we'll go just around here. So I'm in first gear. So same thing as I taught on the other bike. Wait until you get to a rev. Hang on, let me just go over this. Wait till you get to a certain RPMs of your motor, and then once your finger, let go, change up, put your thing back on. Same when you change again, let go, change up, put your throttle back on. Same when you change down, so I change down, let go, change down, quickly put your throttle back on. Now it's back in second. Now we want to change up the third, so what we're going to do is take the throttle off, change up, put your throttle back on. So pretty much it's a manual bike, but you do everything bar the clutch. So usually with a manual you've got a clutch, but these have got a centrifugal clutch in it. So what that means is the clutch actually engages when you give it gas. So that just minuses the pulling in the clutch and taking it out. Same thing, we'll go into fourth gear, let go, change up, fourth gear. Let's go around one more time. So this is basic riding. It's the same when you're riding with trailers. See, I'll button off on the corner just so I can turn properly. And then once I'm going around the corner or safely around it, I can see, I'll button off and button on, or just slightly ease off. And what that does is, because remember, when you're quadding, it's all about countermeasures, counterbalance and momentum. Because obviously the faster you go on the quad, the more momentum you have. And if you turn sharply, all of a sudden the momentum can chuck you off. So when you're riding, so it's more than just riding a quad. You got to learn how to take corners. See, look, you want to button on and turn this corner, because I done that the other day and almost crashed into this fence. But yeah, this is just basic riding, and I sort of show you a Honda Big Red, two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive model converted into two. So yeah, let's park her up. So I'm just stepping down gears. I'm in first gear, park her up, step down into neutral, and so now it's just idling. So when you go to turn off the bike, if you're turning it off for just a couple of, like for about 10 minutes or so, you can leave the gas on. You don't have to always turn the gas off. The only time you really turn the gas off if you're going to not be using it for more than an hour. Well, that's what I recommend too. A lot of people are different, but yeah, about an hour. If it's going to be staying there for about an hour or even 2 hours, you want to turn the gas off so you don't flood your carby and you don't flood your motor. So yeah, that's pretty much basic riding on the 300cc Honda Big Red. I just thought I'd show you that, and since I'm putting this away, I'm actually going to turn the gas off because this is going to be parked up for the night. But it's only because it's wet. So yeah, I just thought I'd show basic riding of a 400 or 300cc Honda Big Red 2-wheel drive. So yeah, but hopefully you learned something new. It is a bit of an easier riding. I just bang the Kickstarter back so it's not in the way. So yeah, until next time, everyone have a good day. And yeah, until we meet again, cheer.